Hello and welcome to today's speed build. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us, and if not, then welcome back. So today we are building once again in the world of Innisgreen, and today I am so excited to share this build with you all because this is my first proper build with this pack. Now, if you don't know, I did do a video where I was kind of trying out the pack for the first time and showcasing some of the new items, and I ended up building a house for like a dark fairy. But I feel like this is my first proper build where I've been able to get really creative with the pack and being able to kind of use it to its fullest potential. So I am just so excited to share this build with you all. Now, this is kind of a long one, so I encourage you to get a snack or a drink or get comfortable at least. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this one. So I am building today a fairy sanctuary, and there's a little bit of a story behind this, which I'm going to get into. So my idea was that I wanted to build somewhere that fairies felt very safe to go, somewhere that they felt was, you know, this like nice, safe, comfortable and secure zone where they can just, you know, live, and they don't have to worry about anything or about people finding them or anything like this. They just can kind of live here and do their own thing. And I think the fairies are like a very good thing for the world. I think they're kind of like, you know how like bees are amazing. I love bees. And I feel like they're kind of like that. Like they do so many good things. I mean, I am like an avid Tinkerbell fan watcher. Maybe not so much now, but I love the Tinkerbell movies and like Peter Pan. But I say Tinkerbell because, like, you know, she's like the star of her movies. And I love, like, you know, she does so much. She's a good fairy. And I feel like that's the same with the people here. They're good fairies, you know? And they just want somewhere to be, somewhere where they can thrive and relax. And, you know, they can do their good for the world. And they don't need to worry about people or things finding them. And yeah, just somewhere where it's very safe for them. So that is kind of what I was trying to create. Now, you can probably tell, but I'm not building in the like fairy specific area. Now, I am so sorry, but I don't know. I don't know exactly what area this is. I know that we have an area that's designed for like wolves? What? Elves. Elves and like gnomes. But I'm not too sure if that is this area or if that's like the other, like, because within a world you have like 3 towns, and I don't know if that's this town or if that's the other town. But either way, this isn't for fairies. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments, so. And there's no worries. But yeah, there's this area is like not specifically designed for fairies. So I feel like although it doesn't so much as blend in to the rest of the world, I feel like people maybe don't notice it for some reason. I mean, I like to just put everything down to magic when stuff doesn't make sense and it's like fairies. You know what, maybe like to people that aren't fairies, this place just looks like a house, and then like to the fairies, like they can see it as a sanctuary, something like this. I don't know, but just something that makes it make sense. But anyway, my kind of story behind this though was, you can see right now I'm building like these ruins. Now the reason behind this is these ruins actually belonged to the fairies like back in the day, a long time ago. I'm talking like hundreds, maybe thousands of years ago, and that's why it is now in ruins. And this was like the original sanctuary for fairies. This is when fairies were not so widespread, not so known, and there was only like it probably started out with like there was a few of them, and then they kind of populated. But what I think happened was there was some sort of decline that happened over time, and there wasn't as many fairies here. And so that caused this little area that you're seeing right now to become very abandoned, turn into ruins. And I think that there was one specific fairy nowadays that found this, that came across it, and she was like, you know what, like I'm going to take this little memorial area. She's gonna make it into a memorial area for fairies to visit if they would like to, and she was gonna create her own little sanctuary around it, and that is what we end up seeing. So you can kind of see that I've built like an initial house. This actually ends up being 2 houses. It does look like one big house, but it actually ends up being like one bigger house and then like one smaller house, and the bigger house is for a bigger family, and I think that's the family where this original fairy that kind of designed this place came from, and that's why she has a bigger house, because she designed this place. There ends up in total being 4 houses, so there isn't very many, which I thought made complete sense, because if this place is kind of just recently started getting done up, then it's not going to be overly populated, if that makes sense. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a nice storyline. I feel like that was a lot of rambling, and I hope it made sense. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is this place isn't massively populated, and it's not huge either, but it's somewhere that's being constantly kind of worked upon. And yeah, that is the kind of storyline that we have going. So by now I've kind of finished up the sanctuary to an extent, like the old sanctuary. That's going to be confusing. Maybe I should call that like the memorial zone, because it's like the past sanctuary. But yeah, it's just like a little area that's the fairies can go to, and they can remember, and they can also have a look at it and be like, oh, this is where, you know, fairies used to live. And I don't actually have a reason behind like why there was a decline in fairies or anything like this. That's something that I feel like you guys are so creative. Like, you know, if you have your own little storyline and you're like, wait, this would be pretty cool, please let me know. I actually love hearing when you guys have ideas. Like, yous are so creative. Actually, for my like post-apocalyptic build, a lot of people had so many suggestions and ideas for like future videos, and it like warmed my heart, because I was like, I made this build, and like so many people had like listened to my ideas and gave input on their own ideas and said, oh well, like Hannah, you could like do this, and this would make sense because of this, and I just love it, and like I appreciate it so much. So I just want to say that. But yeah, if you have any ideas for this, let me know. But another thing, this build should be on the gallery. I uploaded it today, so it should be up there. Now, I did playtest it, and this was something I wanted to talk about, because it was an issue that I had, and it was probably the only issue that I did actually encounter while playtesting. I thought there would be issues with maybe terrain, or maybe like, I don't know, something kind of obvious in that regard, because that's generally where you get kind of gameplay issues. I actually had the most issue with, you know, this like ivy that's above the windows, and the ones that I'm putting above the door right now. Yeah, for some reason my Sims could just not get into the houses because of that. Now, it was really weird. I found it really strange, because that is what they're designed for. It's not as if I've like taken them and just put them there. Put them there. That is what they're there for. Like, they're supposed to go above doors and windows, and for some reason my Sims just couldn't get in the house or out the house because of this. It was really strange, and I'm not too sure why that's a thing. So anyway, what I ended up doing was just sizing them down, kind of like raising them as far up as I could to kind of stop that from happening. But I don't know if it's still going to be an issue in other people's games. I don't know if, you know, sometimes things work good in my game, but they might not work good in yours. So I just want to say, if you are having any issues, if your Sims are like waving their hands in the air and they can't get inside, that is most likely the reason. But I have fixed it on my end, so I'm hoping it doesn't. But yeah, if you're encountering it, I think that is the issue. So it's up to you if you want to take them away. Really weird. It was just a strange thing to me, because yeah, again, like why are they there then? But yeah, a weird thing. I think other people have encountered it. I'm sure I heard people talking about it. But yeah, let me know if that's kind of been an issue for you as well. It was very strange, and I didn't expect it. And it took me a long time to figure out what was wrong. And then, yeah, I realized, and I was like, oh no. So, yeah, I'm hoping it's all fixed, but I just thought I'd mention it as a potential issue. Anyway, I'm kind of flicking between different things that I'm doing here. This is something I tend to do when building. I get very, like, into doing something, and then I'm like, wait, I need to add this over here and I need to add this. In fact, a big thing for me when I'm building is kind of getting my general idea of the whole floor plan. So I do tend to jump about. It's just how I build, it's how I've always kind of built. I actually noticed it, so I've started my build for next Saturday, and I noticed that I was doing it today when I was building. I was like just doing everything like everywhere, and I was like, Hannah, just stick to the one thing. But I'm like, I can't, because I also find that I sometimes neglect the back of my builds, and recently, like the past month or so, I've been trying really hard to not do that, but I tend to do it a lot. Like, I just don't do the back of the build for so long, and then I'm like, okay, I'll do it now. And yeah, I was doing it kind of today. I realized when I was building my other build, I was like, I just haven't done the back of this build at all, and I do it all the time. Anyway, I don't know what I was talking about to even get to that, but yeah, I do things in a really weird order, and I apologize for it because it's probably really really annoying. But anyway, so here was the moment where I was like, I'm gonna add another little like Hobbit home here. By the way, these Hobbit homes are so cute. Everyone has been doing them recently. I remember I did like an autumnal Hobbit home thing like a year ago, it must have been now, and I love the way they look. I've been loving everyone's builds of their Hobbit homes. Like, they look so incredible, and I was like, I need to do another one. Like, these are so fun. But yeah, I was gonna add another one here because I thought it's pretty good to have this space. But then I remembered we got this really cute, these debug items. Now you can see I've pulled them out just now, but what they are is they're little pallets, and then they have plants on them, and they are so cute. Now, of course, they're non-functioning, like they don't actually serve any purpose, but they are beyond cute. Like, they're adorable. I feel like it just looks so sweet. It looks like the Sims have actually planted them here. Like, I don't know, like it just looks so sweet, so like fairy made. I love it. And so I decided to include them and then put some planters on the top platform and have it kind of look like, you know, they are functional in a way, but I just thought that was super cute. I added some pallets underneath as well to make it kind of look like, you know, they take the pallets and then they use them and things like this. But yeah, I'm a big fan of these and how they look. Now, a big thing with the new fairy expansion is actually like foraging and doing planting, and I love that. Like, I love the idea of, well, I've always liked planting in the game. It's always been something you can do, but now with fairies, it's taken to that next level, and it's something that I think people were kind of upset about because it is exclusive to fairies, which I don't understand. I feel like I seen, who was it I seen talking about this? I think it was Simmery Sims, I believe. And she had said, you know, I'm sure it was Simmery Sims that said it, but I think she had pretty much said that she was kind of upset that it wasn't something that was you know, a base game feature. I'm like thinking about it and I'm like, was it Simmery Sims? It was either Simmery Sims or Miss Simrino, because I watched their videos like back to back. Now I don't know who said it, but one of them said it, okay? And yeah, I do agree with whoever said it. I think it's something that should have been added to base game. I think that it just would have made more sense, and I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of a shame for people who have been looking forward to it and they don't want to spend the money on the expansion, especially when there is so many expansions. Now, that's not me complaining about expansions, because of course they're great, they add so much more to the games, like that's what a DLC is at the end of the day. But I think the amount that we're getting and the prices they're at, they are very expensive, and I don't like to talk about that because I feel like it's very negative and I don't want it to come across negatively. But yeah, I just thought I would give the feedback and say that I do agree that it should have been something that base game also got. But anyway, in fact, that reminds me, so there was something I wanted to mention. I actually, before I built this, I built something else beforehand. Now, I may as well tell you what it was, because it's gone essentially. So what I had built was, it was like this mushroom kingdom vibe. Like there was 3 houses and they were all mushrooms. Like they looked like mushrooms, and I had done like the spiral staircase trick around them all because I thought it looked super cool, and I was trying to like do something that was a little bit more whimsical, and I thought it was super cool. Anyway, it took me a while to build it. I don't think it was excessively long, but maybe like 3 hours. It wasn't finished yet, and you know, but I'd done a lot of it. And what happened was, I was saving the game and it kept coming up with this error code saying that I essentially couldn't save the game. And you know, I got around it by saving and going to main menu, which seemed to work until I exited the game and I clicked save and exit, and it came up with the error code, but it exited before like it had already exited even though the code came up. And so because of that, it did not save and it deleted the whole save file. I don't know why that happened. I have no idea, because it was saving when I was doing like save and exit to my menu, but I think something happened. There was like a corruption, and it was directly after the pack had like came out and after we had gotten updates. So I don't know if it was something to do with just the game was not, I don't know, responding properly. But yeah, it was something I just wanted to mention because it's actually why this video was a little bit overdue, because this was meant to come out last Saturday and I hate when I miss schedule. But yeah, like there was nothing I could do about it, so I just wanted to mention it, and I hope that people are not having the same issue. I know that some people have, but I'm hoping that it's kind of settled down now and it's not happening. Thankfully, this saved perfectly, so I was super happy about it. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about this build. So something that I thought was really fun, as I was saying before, I added in these like big tree trunk things and like sunk them into the ground, which I thought looked so cool. Now, I'm sure I did mention that, right? I'm sure I did. My memory is failing me. If I didn't, then yeah. But anyway, we also have these items, and it's like the tree top, which is like just the like treetop, so just the leaves, and I ended up adding those on top of the like branches, and I thought it looked so cool because we don't really have trees like this in the game, which are like super massive and like curved and look very kind of whimsical and kind of like they have a life to themselves, kind of. Yeah. We don't really have anything like that, so I was like, I'm gonna add these like treetops, see how it looks. I really liked it, so that was something I did. Also adding the like tree trunks into the terrain like this, as you can see, I love how that looked. I thought it looked so cool. And yeah, same with the mushrooms. Honestly, like most of this build was me using tool mod to kind of get things exactly how I like them, which I'm just so happy that the tool mod was updated as fast as it was, because honestly, I feel like, I mean, like, I know I definitely couldn't have made this build without it, but I feel like I would have struggled with like coming up with a build if not. Now, I skipped a lot of specific type of terrain, such as me adding like the rocks around the water and stuff, just because you kind of already seen it, and I added quite a few like little pond areas, so I kind of felt like it got a little bit repetitive. I will say most of this build is terrain and then landscaping, and then because there is like 4 separate homes, that's why this video is so long, because it's just me decorating those. But here's the thing, like, it didn't feel that long when I was doing it. Like, I was just having so much fun placing everything, and it did not feel as long as it was. Also, what I've been doing is like slowing my footage down a little bit. I feel like I am not speaking in like full sentences. I slowed my footage down a little bit. That's what I've been doing, just because it was a little bit too fast, and because of the way that I, you know, like play with the camera, I am giving you guys whiplash. And I noticed that, and I was like, you know what, I need to slow this down. So it's on like 300 speed, whereas usually it's on like 500 speed. If you guys ever wondered, that's how fast it normally is. But yeah, For the last few builds, I've been doing it a bit slower, and I think it's easier to watch, so you have to let me know. But anyway, I'm building like the little garden area to one of the Hobbit homes. So this little area is in between the home and then also the little sanctuary area, the memorial spot. And I thought this would be so good for if your Sims wanted to plant some more things, and like if you wanted them to have a separate garden that wasn't shared. I thought that was really nice. It's a good way to help get your skills up. I also found these little fences. How cute are these? So these are from Get Together, and I feel like I haven't used these ones before, but they worked perfectly. Like the angle that they're at was just absolutely perfect. I did end up putting them like into the ground a bit because I felt like they were a little bit too high up, but I really loved how these looked. Now, you'll notice that when I'm building, I kind of pan away a lot. It's because I like to see the build from every perspective. So if you notice me doing that, that is why. I feel like I didn't even need to mention that, but I noticed myself doing it and I feel like I need to say it. But yeah, now in terms of what this build actually includes, let me just talk them through quickly. So we do have of course, 4 Hobbit homes as I've mentioned. We also have like the little planting area. We have the little memorial garden, which doesn't actually have a purpose, but it is somewhere that has benches and stuff. So if your Sims want to sit there, they can. We have the ponds, which your Sims can use for like fishing and such if they would like to. We also end up having like a little mushroom forest. It's not really a forest, it's pretty small, but I think that's what I start work on just now. It's just a little area where your Sims can go, they can sit by the campfire, and they can just have a nice little time. Now we also end up having, I'm trying to think. There's something else. Oh, we end up having like an outdoor library, which is so cool. You will see me kind of editing it a little bit more later on. But it ends up being this like kind of outdoor library. It's super cute. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's super sweet. It's very whimsical, and there also ends up being like a little chess table there. So if your Sims want to do chess, or you want to get your, is it logic skill up? I think it is. You can use that. But yeah, I was playing with my fairy. See, recently I've been making like all my Sims fairies. I just find it so fun. And because I'd also included like the little fairy homes, that's another thing that you can use and that you can have. So your Sims, your fairy Sims can actually go into those and have little dance parties. And these are really good because it gets their fun up and it gets them really like excited and happy, and it's just like a nice thing to include, I feel like. Plus the fact that I did touch on this in my last video, but fairies don't actually need bathrooms and kitchens and beds and things like this. They can cover most of their needs from just existing and like living outside. Now, it is something that they need to work up, which was something I wondered about, but I have done a little tiny bit of gameplay since the last time, and I was kind of trying to figure out how it works. So you actually need to build up the skills yourself and get your Sim used to that kind of outside environment. And then it comes to a point where they kind of learn to do things for themselves. Now, with my experience from it, they actually build it up very, very fast, which is really good. But yeah, it just means that your Sims are able to live outside if they want to, which means that you could actually have more Sims here than just the 4 little houses, which I thought was pretty nice. Now, I wanted to talk a bit about some of the families that I had in mind living here and what I've kind of built them for. So, as I had said earlier, the bigger house, which is a house that ends up having 2 floors, it's still not very big, but like compared to the houses here, it's pretty big. That ends up being, of course, for the person that kind of created this place and found it and made it into what it is now. She has kind of a biggish family. So there ends up being a mum, a dad, a child, and then also a baby. Now, I did decorate it for like all of those Sims. So there ends up being 2 bedrooms, but one is for the mum and dad and the baby, and then one is for the child. They have quite a big like kitchen and things as well. They also end up having like an extra room off the kitchen, which ends up being like, I think it's kind of like I don't know, like I want to say I was gonna say like a pantry, but it's not really. It's more like a little room, like a breakfast nook, sort of. But yeah, they end up having like a lot of space. It's really nice. And that is the biggest one. Now, directly next to them, there ends up being a single sim with a toddler. Because it's a much smaller house and it's only one floor. And then in the two little homes, there ends up being one of them is just a single sim. It's a very small home, and because it's built on a diagonal, it's even smaller. Because if you don't know, in The Sims, if you build something on a diagonal, like it's significantly smaller. I don't know why. I guess just I guess it makes sense because of the way the space is used, but yeah, it's just a lot smaller. So, yeah, it ends up just being for one sim. And then the last one ends up being for I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure it's a sim and a baby. Like one sim and a baby. But yeah, it's pretty good. Like there's a little variety, so like you can choose what you want to do, what kind of gameplay you want to do. I imagine most people will want to play in the bigger house, but I might be wrong. I know that people love the little Hobbit homes, so maybe you want to play in those. Also, I'm just like kind of assuming that you're gonna like download it. Obviously, you do not need to download this. You if you're just watching to watch, I love that as well. I appreciate it so much. But yeah, just something to think about if you are thinking about downloading it. Now, you can see I'm still doing the terrain and stuff. I think we are very shortly going to move on to the inside, like literally within the next moment or so. So please bear with me. You're probably like, Hannah, I am sick of seeing this place. But here's me finally adding the treetops, and then I think we move on to the right. Now, I do end up adding the treetops to the other one as well, but I don't do it until a little bit later on. So yeah, you will see that. But here is the biggest home. So this is where our family of four is living. I love this so much. I'm honestly so happy with how it turned out. Um, Now, I love the way this kitchen turned out. It was the first thing I started with. Actually, when I do houses, the kitchen tends to always be the first thing I start with. I just feel like it's a good base point, it's a good thing to start with, and it helps you get your surroundings of the rest of the house. So there's a little tip if you're ever kind of wondering, oh, I don't know where to start with this build. Kitchen is always a good place because I feel like it helps you get the feel of everything, if that makes sense. I feel like you could say that about any room, but I don't know. I feel like I would never start with a bedroom first. You know what I mean? Like, that just seems crazy. But yeah, I started with the kitchen. Now, as you can see, I've not made the floor plan as of yet, but I do end up expanding upon that in just a moment right now. And I ended up realizing that there was a lot of space, and because I had the upstairs as well, it allowed me to be very creative with this house. And yeah, I love the living room very, very much. I'm really excited for you guys to see it. The living room ends up being like very open to the kitchen, which I really liked as well. And I ended up using the new fireplace, which I hadn't used yet. So I was really excited to add that in this build because I think this is the only house I was able to add it in, and it didn't fit in any of the other ones. I actually think we got two fireplaces with this build. I only used the like mossy stone one, but I love it. It is such a nice fireplace. My brain. I always like blame it on work, but like I wasn't even at work today, so I can't even blame it on that. It's just my brain. I will say something is very warm in Scotland recently, and today it's been roasting. It says it's 18 degrees outside, which for Scotland is hot. Like it's kind of that humid way. It's very like there's no air circulating in my room right now, and I don't have a fan, so I'm just kind of like cooking alive here. So bear with me. Actually, I got a new keyboard today, like a new little keyboard and like keyboard mat, mouse mat thing, and I got the little like the little wrist rests, and they like look like clouds. They're so cute. I'll need to like post and show you guys, but I'm going for this kind of purple theme. Now, the keyboard I had before, it was so beautiful and I love it so much, but the keys were very clicky, and it my mouse picks up on a lot of things. So see if I'm like playing games with people, or even if I'm editing and I like need to click the spacebar for whatever reason, it was a very loud noise. And so yeah, I had been like setting it up today, and I actually, okay, this is crazy. So I bought switches, like switches for my last keyboard because I was like, it's fine, I'll just switch out the switches, you know? And in that way I can make it a silent keyboard. It wasn't until I took all the keys off and started pulling on the switches that I realized it was not hot swappable, so you cannot take them out. And I was like, oh, you're joking. So yeah, I've now got this cute little purple keyboard that I love very much, and I'll need to show you guys. But it's got that, like, you know, that creamy, like, kind of clicking noise. Anyway, super cute. That was like totally off topic, and you're probably like, Hannah, let's talk about the build. But I just needed to share that with you guys. So I'm very excited about it. But anyway, you'll have seen me kind of building up the kitchen here. So I was just placing as much clutter as I could. This was the biggest kitchen in the, you know, in the build. And so I was like, I need to make the most of this. Like, this is my biggest house. I'm going to try and clutter up as much as possible. And that's what I did. I love it so much. In fact, something that I feel like is worth saying, if there's a kit that you really want, okay, and you care about like builds and you care about the way kitchens look, this like kitchen clutter kit, oh my, I am obsessed with it. Like this little grocery bag, I used to use the little debug, you know, the little debug like paper bag with the grocery goods in it. I used to use that until we got this. Absolute game changer. It just makes your kitchens look so realistic. A lot of the time, I feel like it looks like a CC pack. Like it just looks incredible. So yeah, that was something I just wanted to mention. I love that kit. So if you're thinking about getting a kit, I recommend that one. But anyway, I am now moving on to the living room. Now, I do just want to take this moment to say if you've managed to get this far in the video, thank you so much. First of all, I really, really appreciate it. But comment a little mushroom emoji in the comments if you have the mushroom emoji. I'm sure you should, right? I'm sure you have a mushroom in like most things. If not, just comment any emoji that you like. Comment your favorite emoji. I don't know, but yeah, I really appreciate it, and yeah, thank you again. Also, I just want to take this moment to say if you are enjoying the video and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It is free. It helps me out so much, and I really appreciate it. And it means that if you're enjoying these videos, they'll pop up on your timeline, and yeah, it means that you're able to see them when they come out. So yeah, I also wanted to mention something. So I recently have been deciding to make content that is members only. Now it isn't completely exclusive to members because it does go out to the public like a few days after. But if you're looking to get kind of early content from me and also content that I don't do too often, that's definitely an option. I have memberships on my channel. Please do not feel obligated, of course, to subscribe to the memberships, but it is an option if you would like to support me and if you would like to see some early content. It's something that you could look into. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about this living room. So this is where I used the fireplace. I love it so much. I also used this little like teapot, like tea set on the table. I love that so much. I honestly had a field day cluttering this up, putting that TV up on the fireplace. A fireplace with 4 shelves. Are you kidding me? I love this. I need like a normal version of it. By normal, I mean a version that doesn't look like it belongs in fairyland. Like a version that is like, just looks like a home fireplace because I love it. Like this would be an absolute staple for me. I think that's something people talked about, kind of like versatility of this pack. And I did say about it in my last video, but I think again, like there is certain things that you can use and then there's certain things that you probably couldn't use. Like for example, the toilet. You're probably not going to use that toilet in a normal house because it doesn't make sense. But see certain things like this dining table, I know it's a little bit whimsical, but it would work really well if you were building for like spellcasters. It would also work if you were doing like, okay, I don't know, I've ran out of things now, but I feel like I feel like it's cute, okay? I feel like you could do something with it. I have an idea for like more fairy builds that I want to do. Like I'm already thinking them out. Like I've been thinking about Christmas. I'm like, imagine a fairy build in the snow. Like, are you kidding me? There's so many ideas I have, and I promise I'm not just going to be releasing fairy content. Okay, my next video is not fairies. It's completely different, but I do have a lot planned for them, so I'm really excited for that to come, and hopefully you guys are too. But yeah, it's just nice. It's just nice being able to be quite creative with this pack, because this is something that I've always liked building in this kind of style, and yeah, we've never really had the stuff to do it properly with. So it's nice. It's been a long time coming, honestly. Okay, so we're moving on to the child's bedroom now. And I love this little room so much. Now, it is very small, as you can probably see, but honestly, it still fit a lot of stuff in it. I honestly loved it in kids' rooms so much. One of my favorite rooms to do, actually. I just feel like you can be so creative with kids' rooms. Like, there's so much you can do. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun with it. So, I didn't think too much into this sim, but they, of course, are a fairy. I was thinking was maybe a boy sim. Um, and yeah, I was thinking that the baby upstairs is a little girl, so I thought that was pretty sweet. And I did struggle with like picking wallpaper. I don't actually know what one I settled on, but I settled on one of them eventually. Oh, I think it is this one, but the blue. Yeah, I'm sure I do keep it as this one. Now, I love this little, what is it, like a acorn nightlight? So sweet. I ended up just adding stuff that I thought would be suited to a child, but also to like a fairy sim, and I just think it looks so sweet. I went with green quite a lot in this build. Like overall, there's a lot of beds I picked that end up being green. I don't know why. Like when I think of fairy, I do think of green, and I think maybe it is like that kind of, you know, back in my mind, I'm like, oh, Tinkerbell's green. I don't know. Like, it's just something I feel like maybe it's just me, but I don't know. I tend to think towards green. Um, I actually, I got my hair done recently. I got it, so it's red now. And I'm like, oh my God, I kind of feel like Vidya. Like, I know Vidya has like purple hair. But when I got it first done, it was like, it was quite dark red, and it was kind of giving like Vidya vibes. Maybe not so much now. Now it's more like that red vibe. But yeah, I love Vidya. If you know who I'm talking about, like from the Tinkerbell movies, she's such a moment. She's such an icon. But anyway, as you can see, I'm decorating it with a lot of like kids stuff. I used this little, it's like a camper van pillow. I love that so much, from the little campers kit. Remember when that kit came out, by the way? I think that was about 2 years ago now. It was a long, long time ago. Shall I look it up? Wait, let's see when it was. Because I remember when that released, and I was honestly so excited for it. Which is crazy because I feel like I don't use it loads now. It came out in May 2022, so that was 3 years ago. That is absolutely crazy, which means I've probably been on YouTube for about 3 years, more than 3 years, which is so funny to me. Um, I always think about that. Like I've not been on YouTube for a huge amount of time, but yeah, I've been on there for like long enough. But yeah, it's crazy. Like I feel like time flies so fast. Like for example, Horse Ranch, that came out so long ago. It doesn't feel like it though. Because think since then we've had several packs, so it's just crazy. But yeah, it just shows you like time flies so fast. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's crazy. Um, anyway, here's like the little pantry area, which ends up being like a breakfast nook. I thought this worked so nicely. I really like how it turned out. It's pretty simple. There's just like extra dining in here. I feel like this would be really good if you're wanting to invite Sims round, because there's not like a whole bunch of space in here, but you could have people in the kitchen, some people in here, some people in the living room. Um, I mean, if your Sims are anything like mine, they'll end up anywhere except where you want them to be, because that's just how Sims work. But yeah, something I like about fairies is that they can fly anywhere instantly though, which I feel like helps a lot, because you know when you're trying to tell your sim to go somewhere and they take forever to do it. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I have mods installed, so I just teleport my Sims everywhere if they're not, if they're taking too long. But yeah, I like that that's a feature with the new pack. So I'm a fan of that. Now I'm doing the bathroom, and I typically don't show bathrooms because I think they're a bit boring. So I'm kind of considering if I should have cut this out, but I've included it, so I'm just going to keep it in. I think I may have included all the bathrooms, which I'm now wondering why, because yeah, a little bit boring, I feel like. That probably doesn't, I'm probably not helping myself by telling you that this is boring, but I don't know, I just find bathrooms. Does anyone else have a room that they just hate doing? Because mine is bathrooms. I kind of dread them, like I put them off, and I just feel like they all look the same, and I can never get super creative with them. Let me know if you have a room like that, like whether it be kitchens or bedrooms or living rooms, like I will say, although I love doing kitchens, when I'm doing builds like this and there's like, you know, 4 kitchens I have to do, sometimes it does get that repetitive way where I'm like, okay, this is too many kitchens. And like, I'm like, I don't know how to decorate this one, but that isn't me disliking the kitchen. That's just like the repetition, you know? But yeah, bathrooms, I just don't have a time of day for them. Just not a fan of them. But anyway, I managed to finally use the beautiful bed that we got with this expansion. Now, I wasn't able to use it in my last build because my build was way too small, but I managed to use it here. I love it so much. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I didn't in this build use like we got a little canopy and I haven't used it yet, and now I'm thinking about it. I'm like I should have used that as well for one of these little houses, but I'm sure I'll use it eventually, so there's no worries. But I love this bed. I love this crib as well. Oh my god, I fell in love with this crib. I think this is one of my favorites. I just think it's so sweet. The little acorn box as well, the little toy box. Oh my god, guys, I'm obsessed with it. Now, I did also add a changing table and then also like a play mat for your sim. And I know that these are really aimed towards infants, but I was thinking babies age up so fast in the sim. So if you're wanting to play, this baby's going to be an infant very, very soon. And so yeah, I didn't think it was like a big deal, so I just kept them in there. I also feel like sometimes it's nice to have things for like the progression. It just makes things a little bit easier. It means you don't have to worry about buying them. Um, Although I will say, if you're playing with this build, you probably, unless you're like downloading the build and then resetting your money, you probably have a lot of money because I think this is like 170,000 simoleons. So yeah, it's not very cost friendly. Pretty expensive build. It's not starter friendly, but I assume you knew that just by the size of it. But yeah, something I thought I'd mention. Now, I had so much fun cluttering up this bedroom. I love doing bedrooms that are like parent and baby. I've spoken about this before, but like I struggle with parents' bedrooms. I think it's one of those bedrooms like or one of those rooms where again it feels repetitive or I just don't know what to put in it most of the time. So yeah, I had a lot of fun making this for like a baby and a parent. I thought, well, and 2 parents. It just was so much easier. But yeah, I did a lot of cluttering up, which you will see. I tried to put as much detail into this build as possible. I'm honestly like so bad for cluttering, as in I need to clutter everything up. And I know it's not realistic. Again, something I've spoken about, like it's just not realistic, but I like it. I like to clutter things up. So sue me. Now this was weird, but I placed this mirror in this house, like in this room, and I was looking at it and I was like, it doesn't look like an inside mirror. Do you know what I mean? Like it looks like it belongs outside. Like it doesn't work on the inside. I do end up getting rid of it and exchanging it because it just I don't know, like I'm hoping you kind of get what I mean, but like it just doesn't look like it should be on the inside of a house. So I ended up using this one from Outdoor Retreat, which you're probably sick of seeing because I've honestly used it in so many builds now, but it looks better, it works better, and I spent so long picking a swatch of this rug as well, which is just Oh, just the indecisiveness. Yeah, it actually took me quite a while to do this whole bedroom. It honestly was just a very big room, so it took me ages. But I think it looks super sweet. I always struggle with those paintings from Seasons, by the way. I don't know why. I think they just look a little bit too unrealistic to me, which sounds crazy because like they obviously aren't meant to be realistic, but I don't know. I just I always go to use them and then I'm like, no, no. Although Seasons is my favorite pack, we know this. Not for necessarily the build and buy, but just because I love the gameplay aspect. Like I can't imagine playing The Sims and not having snow and not having like I don't know, like the heat waves. It's something that I think adds probably one of the most realism into the game. And yeah, again, that would be the number one expansion pack I would like ever recommend. I did a ranking packs video and I feel like now I need to do an updated one because we have new packs. But I also feel like I would put things in different places if I was to do it now, but Seasons would always be at the top. I just love that pack. I feel like they did everything right. And yeah, I just like it. I think it's a good pack. It's a good pack. It's up there with like Site 11. That's a good pack. Anyway, I feel like I just go on rambles all the time. I need to stop myself. But we've moved on finally to the second home. You're probably like, thank you. But we moved on to this home now. I love this little house so much. It's very sweet. So this is for one sim and a toddler, and it's a very cutesy. I spent a very long time on this kitchen. I spent a long time trying to pick wallpaper and flooring, which I did end up cutting out because it was a little bit too long. But I really like how this turned out. So this I was thinking was maybe like a mum and her son. I thought that would be super sweet. And it's a very like cozy cottagey vibe in here. There's no upstairs, so it is just the one floor. But yeah, they stay right beside like the big family, and I feel like they're very close friends, or maybe even like relatives. It could even be. Do you know what you could do? You could even do like this is the mum's oldest child. Like maybe she has three kids, and this is her oldest child, and she stays in here with her son. I feel like that would be so cute. That that's a cute idea. There also ends up being a cat in this house, which I thought was super sweet. I think that it's like very witchy to have a cat, but I also feel like it's very, I don't know, it fits in with fairies. Doesn't Tinkerbell have a cat, or like does she meet a cat? Am I making this up? I feel like I've spoken about Tinkerbell way too much this video, but like I love Tinkerbell. I'm gonna look it up because I need to know. We need to find out right now. Tinkerbell cat. Oh wait, no, it's her sister, isn't it? Right? Am I going crazy? Her because she meets her sister, right? Oh, okay, so in Secret of the Wings, which is the one which her sister is in, there is a cat. Oh, it's like a larynx. And it's a cat. No, it's a lynx. It's not a larynx. It's a cat. It's not a larynx. A larynx is like a tube in your neck. It's a lynx. Guys, I can't even. But yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I was like, wait, doesn't she have a cat? It's because she like rides the cat. There is also that cat in the other one, but it like tries to eat her. That is it like Mr. Stitches or something? Guys, I'm gonna stop talking about Tinkerbell because it has been excessive. But yeah, I was like, I knew there was a cat somewhere. Anyway, they have a cat. They have a little cat. I imagine that it's very cute. I did imagine like a kind of white grey cat. I feel like that's super cute. Maybe they have like a big cat. Wouldn't that be so cool if we could have like big cats in The Sims? Why is that not something they've included? You know, I was also thinking, I was like, and there's so many things that I would love to build in The Sims, but I was like, how would you go around doing it? This ties on sort of because the thing I had in mind was like, I wonder if I could do like a Jurassic Park kind of thing. And then I was like, wait, but how would I do it? Like, how would I create a park that has dinosaurs in it? Like, how's that going to work? We don't have dinosaurs. But do you know what? Where there's a will, there's a way. So maybe that's something I need to work out. But I don't know. I've been thinking about it and I was like, that's a cool thing. But I feel like we need more things to work with, you know? But yeah, I feel like they're probably not going to release a dinosaur pack as much as I would love it because I love dinosaurs. I just feel like it won't be a thing, which is so sad. It's the same with I would love if we got some kind of, I know we have Sulani and we have like mermaids, but imagine we had some sort of like underwater kingdom. Like you could build houses. Imagine you could build houses and they're purely underwater. Like we had underwater lots. Now, I can imagine that this would be difficult to implement, but imagine your mermaids could go to these lots. That would be so cool. Okay, do you know what? I've copyrighted that idea. If the Sims make that, then they owe me money. No, but I feel like that would be such a cool thing. Like that would be awesome. I would have a field day with that, honestly. Because I feel like currently we kind of just have to pretend with our water builds. And yeah, that would just be so cool. Anyway, let's talk a bit about this build. So I've moved on to the living room, which I don't know why it took me so long to do the living room because it's not a very big space and I feel like I didn't even add that much to it. But I did a lot of kind of reshuffling, kind of working things out. I honestly really like how it turned out. I feel like it's super cozy and sweet, and it does come across that there is a very small family living in here, and yeah, it's just like a cozy little space. I made sure to include everything that your Sims need as well. So like they've got like a little living space, they've got their kitchen, which is fully functional, bathroom of course, and then like the bedroom area. Um, Something I actually just realised that I've not added to this build is an apothecary table. Now that's something that we just got with the new pack, or you know, we just kind of got that skill and things, which is super cool. I didn't actually add it. I might add that and then put it back on the gallery now that I'm thinking about it because yeah, I feel like that's an important thing to have. So yeah, I might do that. But yeah, I if not, you can definitely add it, but I think I most likely will add that in because I feel like that's important. But yeah, we're moving on to the bedroom now, and it's a very small bedroom, but it works so well for this little family. I will say, I had an issue with building where my camera was bobbing around a lot, and this is something that I've turned off before in my settings, but I think because I downloaded all my shaders and things again, it like reset somehow, and now it's back to its default. So I'm gonna have to go and like redo all of that just because it was a little bit annoying to deal with, and I feel like it's annoying to watch as well. So yeah, anyway, we are still doing this little bedroom. Now, I feel like even though it is very small, it's also like the perfect size for this little area. Like, it's very cozy. I feel like it fits in so nicely. And I actually like how small the rooms are because I feel like they give that cottage vibe. I think if they were very large, they wouldn't really give off the same feel. And also, I really struggle with doing bigger like rooms. Like whenever I do houses, like family homes, I try and make as many rooms as possible, which some people maybe don't like, but for me, I find it so much easier like being like, okay, here's two bathrooms, we've got like three closed off bedrooms, a closed off kitchen and dining space. Whereas I know a lot of people like to do an open plan like living kitchen dining space. And honestly, I love how they look, but I personally panic with the space a little bit, and sometimes I end up feeling like, oh, that could have looked better, especially considering that I'm not a modern person and I feel like open spaces are very modern. And yeah, it's just not my forte. So I tend to stick to the enclosed spaces a little bit more. Now we're moving on to the third home. So this is one of the little hobbit homes. This is the one that's on the diagonal. Yes. It's hard to tell just because I have like flooring down. Now I already did the bathroom and I did also do the last bathroom off camera. Just because I thought they were a little bit boring to watch. As I said earlier, I was like, I'm gonna cut these out. So for this one, I just did like a 3 tile bathroom because As I say, there's not a lot of space in the diagonal houses. That's just kind of how the game works. So I thought instead of wasting the space, I thought I would just make a 3 tile bathroom, which seemed to work pretty well. Now we've got this kitchen, which does take up a lot of room, but it was the easiest way to do it so that I could have a sink, a stove, and a fridge in here. There doesn't end up being much clutter in the kitchen just because there wasn't a lot of space. And I like to keep a counter for counter space, so that is the reason. But I did end up having a room for like a little living room and yeah, like the bed area as well. I also, towards like the end of this build, or like when I move on to the next Hobbit home, I realized I hadn't used any of the mushroom shelves. Now this is a new item that we got with this pack. I'm sure you've seen it by now, but it's so gorgeous. It's like these little mushroom shelving like shelves, and they are so cute. They come in so many colors, and I ended up seeing them and I was like, no, I haven't added them. So I actually end up going back to this build, adding some mushroom shelves and also adding some to the like memorial area as well. And yeah, I love them so much. They're so cute. But here I'm just working on the kitchen. I'm honestly just working on everything because this, as I was talking about, this is an open plan space, but I feel like this is different because it's such a tiny space. So I didn't feel super overwhelmed doing it. I actually really like this one. I feel like if you're wanting to play with this build, I feel like most people will not gravitate towards this one just because it is very small, very open plan. But I actually still really like how it turned out. I think it has a lot of character around it. So yeah, hopefully you like it as well. But yeah, I'm just adding some like appliances, everything that your son will need if they want to use this. Again, with fairies, they don't even need half the stuff. So is there any point? I don't know. But again, I use so much green. I just feel like I associate fairies with green. It just works. Now, these lights, I have used them in like every room. I love those lights. They're like little branches with flowers and they're perfect. I love them so much. I'm also using the new flooring in this room, which I think looks amazing. It kind of looks like little tree trunks, which I think is meant to be the kind of vibe. It looks so cool. I love it. But yeah, very cozy little house. This double door, don't even get me started. It is absolutely perfection. Um, and now we are moving on to the last home. So this one is similar to the last one, except we had a lot more room. Because I actually made this kind of like a double home in a way, like the way I designed it on the outside. It's kind of like got the two bump out, so it does have some extra room. So I ended up having one bedroom with the baby in as well, the baby and the adult. We've got a kitchen space, which is kind of like separated from the bedroom, unlike the last home. There's also a tiny little living space, like I mean tiny. And then there's also a bathroom, which I don't show on camera, but I do show me adding all the mushroom shells everywhere, so you will see that. I do just want to say there is a lot of landscaping that I did off camera because as you can tell, this is a very long video as it is, and I felt like it was very repetitive, and I just didn't want there to be like loads and loads of clips of me just adding grass and plants and mushrooms and things. But there does end up being more than you've seen, so hopefully that's okay. I actually would love to hear feedback on how you feel about it. Do you prefer when I cut it out? Would you rather see it? I do get a lot of people say that they watch my videos to sleep and stuff, so I suppose for those people it's probably better. Um I'm the same, by the way. Like there's videos I watch 100 days to sleep. I love them, like the Minecraft 100 days. They're so fun to watch, but I always watch them to sleep because they're like hours long. And so I think the longer the better for videos like that. But yeah, I guess it depends if you're wanting like a quick watch, then I mean it's still very long, but if you're just wanting something to sit down and chill with, then yeah, it's probably very repetitive seeing the same thing, but yeah, it's something that I'm happy to do if you guys like it. It's just one of those things that I kind of look at it back and I think that's a bit boring, so I'm gonna cut it out. But anyway, I'm just rambling. I would love to hear what you think. But anyway, we're doing the last Hobbit home as I've mentioned, and I went for the same flooring but in a different swatch. This is the tiny living space. It's literally teeny tiny, but it is so cute just by the front door, which I don't know if this is convenient, but this is actually the house where I had the trouble with rooting. And at first I thought it was because the couch is like so close to the door. And I was like trying to move the couch, and then I realized it wasn't the couch. It was like that kind of new ivy that we got. But yeah, I, as far as I know, have fixed it. So I'm hoping it's not an issue, but you'll have to let me know. But yeah, I really like this one. This might be. I'm trying to think if it's my favorite. I really like this one. I just think it turned out so cozy. I really like it. I also went for this kind of like red vibe with the crib and with the bed. Oh my gosh, look at this crib and tell me that's not the cutest thing you've ever seen. How cute is it? It's got the freezer bunny fairy on it. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. I actually was looking on the Sims website because they're selling some stuff and they've got like the little freezer bunny keychain. And I'm like, should I get it? Like, it might be sold out by now, but I looked at it the other day and I'm like, I really want it, but I don't know. I don't know what's stopping me. It's just, when you're like, I feel like I always get like that when I buy myself things. I'm like, no, I don't need it. But like, I'll buy my boyfriend stuff, like, just because. It's just, I feel like, does anyone else do that? I know people do that, right? Let me know if you think I should buy the little freezer bunny fairy. I think it's super cute. I could put it on my bag. Like, I love putting things on my bag, like pins. I've got an Entei keychain, like the Pokemon. I've got Pokemon badges. I've got I've got a little spooky ghost. It's actually a cowboo. So he's a cowboy, but he's a ghost, so he's a cowboo. How cute. Anyway, what am I even talking about? I don't even know. But yeah, I have so many cute things in my bag. So I was like, the freezer bunny would really complete it. But yeah, you need to let me know. Should I get it or not? Maybe I'll do a poll. Should I get freezer bunny? No, I don't know. I'll have to see, but it's super cute. You should definitely check out the shop. I feel like it's one of those things where if you want something Sims related, it's a good place to go, but also it is kind of expensive. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just rambling. Honestly, I do this all the time. All the time, all the time. My voice just gave in on me. It's like, Hannah, stop. Um, yeah, I do it all the time. But anyway, here you can see I added the mushrooms. And yeah, this was literally my moment of realization of, oh my gosh, there's mushrooms and I've not been making the most of it. I added a bunch of these potions to it, and something I love about the potions is when you're in live mode, they like have stuff shooting out of them. It is so magical. Like, I love it so much. So I was playing with it in live mode and I was like, this looks so cool. So yeah, I really like how it turned out. I end up adding these mushrooms to, as I was saying, the memorial, but I add the blue ones. The reason, by the way, is I felt like the blue, it gave kind of like this sad, moody vibe, and I really liked it. I felt like it really just made sense to be in that area, and it's kind of like it's the only area that has blue mushrooms. Um, like, I don't know, not to be super like, what's the word? Like, I'm making a story out of it, but yeah, that is kind of what it is. It's like that area is got the blue mushrooms, and it's kind of like this memorial zone, and maybe it's like mushrooms that are not dying, but they're very old in a way, and I don't know, just something like that. But I thought that was pretty cool, so yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. But yeah, here's me adding the purple mushrooms in here. They are so beyond cute. I just added some different clutter pieces. I'm sure I added some vinyls to one of them. Yeah, this one above the bed. Why vinyls? I don't know, but I thought it looked pretty cool. And I can imagine the fairies being like, okay, let's listen to music, like get our vinyls down. I just thought that was super cute. But yeah, here's what I was talking about with those mushrooms. I love how they look. They just look super cute. I also do add some benches in here, as I mentioned earlier, just to give your Sims somewhere to sit if they'd like to. I also really like these benches. They just I don't know, they just feel satisfying. Now we're just adding the kind of final details here, and then I also end up expanding upon the library that I was talking about. So this is where I add the little chess table. I also add like a little table in the middle so that your Sims like could hypothetically put their little books on there. I just thought it was so sweet. Like, I love this little zone. I love how it turned out. I do end up, I think, putting some more flowers and just a bit more foragery around it just to make it feel a little bit more like it belongs here and it's kind of been built into the surroundings. And yeah, I just love it so much. I feel like I would read books here. Like if I was a little fairy just like wandering around in this little sanctuary, I just think it's so cute. But anyway, we are coming to the end of this video, so I do just want to say a massive thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps me out. And yeah, if you made it this far, just thank you so much. I appreciate the support so much. Also, just another reminder that I do have channel memberships and I am going to be releasing early content. So if that is something that interests you, please have a look into it. Again, no obligation, but it's just something to help support me. But yeah, thank you all once again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!